That colour is almost luminous. It's unbelievable. Did you know that the ingredient in this was used to ward off evil spirits? This is a risotto like no other. The rustic charm of this dish is all centred around using creamy pearl barley instead of rice for its earthy, nutty flavour. However, there's another twist. With each bite, there's a surprising flavour, a vibrant green note that's from a humble but powerful ingredient that's often overlooked as a common garden weed. This brings a wild freshness that balances the nutty depth of the barley. The weed even has the power to fight off seasonal allergies, and the Romans held it in high regard. And what better, it's totally free. Delicious. To make the simple risotto, first up you need to finely chop up some onions and some garlic and some celery. They are my base ingredients, and when my pan is hot I add a touch of olive oil and saute them together for around 5 minutes. We want to let all of the sweetness and flavour out of each ingredient. Oh, I am enjoying being in my new kitchen so much. Thank you for joining me here. At this stage, it's so important to season with salt because it not only helps bring out flavour, but it also will just draw out some of that liquid and help everything caramelise beautifully. One pet hate of mine is when I go out to eat at restaurants and things aren't seasoned properly, and that's with salt mainly, because salt just enhances the flavour and it brings new life to dishes. If something's bland, that often means you haven't added enough salt. Then we'll stir through some rinsed pearl barley. It's high in fibre and has this sort of nutty, satisfying chewiness as well that works so well in this risotto. Toast the grain for a few minutes in the pan before deglazing with some white wine. Guys, I cannot express to you how much I appreciate dried mushrooms. Now, they can be bought at all good supermarkets these days. Some are more expensive than others. My favourite is porcini by far. They have the most incredible rich flavour. I love to forage my own porcinis. I have never grown or never foraged enough to be able to dry them for myself. In Italy, there's tons of them, so that's where most of the time they come from. What I'm going to do now is actually rehydrate them in some boiling water. You'll notice as the mushrooms are hydrating, their flavour and richness leaches out into the liquid, and that is a vital flavour infusion that we must add to the pan. But just be careful there's no sand or grit in the liquid. I am confident enough in those mushrooms to say that I do not need to add any stock to this, but just boiling water. And then I'm going to pop a lid on the pan and let it bubble away for about 45 minutes or so, just over a very low heat. All right, that's bubbling away. Now it's time to go and get the star ingredient, my weed. All right, so what I mean by weed, I mean stingy nettle. I haven't got any gloves on me today because I don't mind being stung by them. The reason being, I've got some new information all about stingy nettles that may show that the sting is actually good for us. So let's go find some. Hello chickens. Is there any nettles in there? There's got to be some in the hedgerow. Here's some lovely nettles, just as the sun is coming down. So nettles, weirdly enough, by Romans in the UK, when it got really cold in the winter, they used to rub nettles all over them to keep them warm. That's a bit extreme, I think, but actually the sting on them is actually a needle, and for anyone with allergies, that needle, when it stings you, it's actually like antihistamine. It's actually going to help you when it comes to your allergies, seasonal allergies and things like that. If you don't want to sting yourself with it, then I really recommend just making tea with the stinging nettles, but I actually feel that the power and the benefits and the deliciousness and all the vitamins and minerals that are in stinging nettles are actually going to be present in my risotto, because I'm only going to add the stinging nettles at the very end so they hold on to maximum nutrition. Ow! If you clamp them you don't get stung, but I just did. Ah! Okay, I'm going to get some scissors. How did the Romans rub them all over themselves? Nutters! No wonder they took everywhere over. I feel like this plant needs a bit more appreciation by us. We need to stop referring to it as a weed and start referring to it as an ingredient that we would have used since we've been around, really, I'm sure. This isn't the best technique, I just can't find my scissors anywhere. Alright, that's just enough nettle, just enough. I would like some more, but I lost my scissors and it just makes it a pain to cut them. If you can't get hold of nettles, then just use spinach instead. Now I am actually going to be using some frozen spinach because I really want to create the most green, rich, luscious puree to fold through my pearl barley risotto. And to get rid of the sting, we need to cook them. So I'm going to steam the nettles for a few minutes, maybe 1.5 minutes max, along with the frozen spinach, and then we'll blitz it up with a little olive oil, a touch of water and a pinch of sea salt. Right, so this pearl barley looks perfectly cooked now and it smells mushroom heaven. It's only right now that we enjoy this outside, so I'm going to do the last stage of the cooking technique for this nettle risotto outside. Well, this is a nice little alfresco dining situation. The sun is out, it feels beautiful. Perfect meal, I think, on a hot day, risotto. Now this is a spin on a risotto using the pearl barley, but to make it even more of a spin, this is kind of trippy actually. I'm about to mix through that incredible green nettle sauce through this risotto. It's an acquired taste. I think it looks almost luminous, but it's intriguing. It looks fresh and healthy, so let's get it in. Just before serving up, I'm adding a pinch of salt, pepper and lemon juice. And to top it off, I'm adding a whipped tahini yogurt dressing that I made in a previous video. So that just adds a real creaminess. I finally finish off with a drizzle of olive oil and pumpkin seeds. Bit of pepper, because why not, and also I don't know when to finish. I was just about to take a photo of this, but being in the garden is inspiring. It looks great, it's going to taste amazing. But then I saw some nasturtium leaves just growing here like a weed. These have got the most peppery flavour. A few of these won't hurt. You don't have to do this at home. It's just me being a weird artiste. Oh, that nasturtium just finishes it off. I can't wait to taste. in the garden. This may be a weird one for you, but I promise it's a good one. I just love the pearl barley as a risotto rice, and the nettle and the spinach just have a subtle sort of herbaceous flavour, and then you've got that beautiful porcini mushroom. It's just rich. I'm glad I added that nasturtium at the end, that nice little peppery note. This is a great way of using nettles. Give it a go, they're free to pick, and interestingly enough, they're also an amazing fertilizer for my garden. So recently I made a nettle tea that you can use to pour over your vegetables or your flowers, your plants, whatever you've got growing. The soil and the plants will love it. Oh, it stinks! But that's a good thing, I promise. A few weeks ago, I put some nettles that I picked from the hedgerow into a bucket and added some rainwater to make a nutritious tea that is filled with vitamins and minerals that my plants and vegetables will love. This will enable me to grow big, juicy, incredible fruits and vegetables. After a few weeks in the bucket fermenting and steeping, it's time to pour the nettle tea over my vegetables. Just dilute some of the tea with some rainwater in your watering can and pour it over your vegetable beds. Drink it up, garlic. Whoa.